Welcome back to another episode of the 1942 Capehart 500M restoration. So on the bench we now have the play control. This is the 1942 Series M play control that Capehart utilized for the 400 model, and in this case the 500 model. So we have a toggle switch here, which is going to be for our pilot lamp, which would sit here. This one's missing, which we'll talk about in a second. The entire case is made out of Bakelite. And you have your control, which goes all the way up to 50 if I'm not mistaken. And if you have it all the way in this position, you'll be bypassing the play control. Now in order to count this down, we have over here, what was in the 500 when I received it, this small switch. Every time the cam gear strikes this on the changer, it counts down here on the play control, and once it gets to 0, it'll shut off the machine. This is very innovative and highly updated compared to the previous year, 1941, 1940, 1939, and 38 all use the egg timer style, whereas 42, this is very unique for that. This mounts on the inside of the cabinet, and the user would look at it just like this, be able to set their play control, and then the records would go. Now this was bypassed from the dealer. You can notice here that the socket is missing, and as a result on the rear end they had these wires come off to 2 or 3 different lamps inside the cabinet. Clearly a dealer installation, and I don't really understand why there's 3 lamps. Perhaps Nate Miller had poor vision, at the time after he bought this machine. Now over here we have another play control. This is from a 400M parts unit. You can see the socket down there. This is identical, the same thing. There's only one wire that comes out the back, because this would utilize the pilot lamp here, whereas this is not. They took the 2 wires, spliced them, and ran them through the cabinet so you could utilize extra cabinet lighting. Now as a debacle that I have right now, I want to utilize probably the original play control, but the question is do I utilize the lamp or do exactly how the dealer did? Now there's a reason for that. Where this sits in the cabinet currently is pretty low. So it's low enough to where the user can look through the cabinet doors and see the lamp, or excuse me, see the play control, but the light will be so close to the shelf where the changer sits that it may not emit enough light. Now, there's two ways of doing it. I could test it with this and kind of see how it goes, and also restore this one and have it on standby. I do want to try to utilize original components with this restoration as much as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through this play control, and we're also going to go through this play control. A little extra work, I know, but that we'll be able to test both. More on that soon. Now on the back here, it's very difficult. It's very time consuming to take out. I don't want to damage this felt. So when we get back, let's go ahead and look inside this. We now have the play control opened up. Here's the Bakelite housing. We're going to go ahead and clean this, polish it. We have our knob back here, some of our hardware. Here's the interesting part. So this is our play control. You can see our wheel from off to 50 and then out. Behind it we have a ratchet and pawl system with a ball bearing right here. And as we turn this wheel, you can see this switch right here, right? As we bring it all the way up to out, it opens up this switch, which bypasses the use of the play control. When it's set to 50 or below, it'll slowly count down via a switch that sits underneath the 16E changer. It sends an electrical impulse, and this will count down one at a time. Now here's the solenoid for the play control. So you can see that here. This is our compartment lamp switch, which has been bypassed to allow for a separate compartment lamp. Like I said, we'll be playing around with that, because we have this play control, and then we have that one right back there with the compartment lamp still installed. So we're going to service both try out this one first, see if the lamp that comes out the base there is enough to illuminate the cabinet, the record compartment. If it is, that's how we're going to go. If not, we may utilize this play control with an external interior cabinet lamp, similar to what you'd see in earlier 400s and 500s. So more on that later. Right now we're going to clean and lubricate everything, and when we come back, we'll show it reassembled. Okay, here's the finished product of the original 500M play control. Like we said, the original one did not sport the correct lamp socket. You can see I've maintained the originality of this unit. Bakelite has been clean and polished, as you can see here. And we've lubricated the dial. It turns very smoothly now. There's also a solenoid relay inside. We've lubricated that and cleaned it, and then we also replaced the grommets. As you can see, there's 4 total. Made some repairs to some wire that was, I guess the insulation was broken. This is pretty brittle, so we may not end up using it, but we'll just have to kind of see. So there's one play control finished, and we're going to do the other one right over here on the left, which is from a 400 machine with the socket. Then we'll have both of these set aside and see which one does a better job inside the 500 cabinet once the changer is installed. Now, one last thing, here is the plug which goes to these wires right here. This is the plug for this play control. It's in pretty corroded condition. So what we'll do at a later date is we're going to clean and spray this metal housing, and then we'll reattach all the wires to that. So that completes the play control. We're going to do the other one off the camera. Essentially, it's the same exact thing as what we just did here. A very simple unit, but very critical in order to have the record counter, which functions as an off function once it counts down to 0 records. So it also contains the compartment light for 1942. That's up for debate here as we continue the restoration down the road. But another small unit done. Next up, we're going to check out the remote control.